Hey guys, welcome to Save the New Podcast, where every week we get together and talk about video games and video game related stuff. I'm Shanae Howard. This, as always, with me, Tommy Shelby
Hello.
and the lovely Ryan Robinson.
Hello, good to be here. First time, first time.
Joke never gets old. But what have you guys been up
Ryan's
to this week?
drinking Ryan's drinking blood jam.
Yeah.
Metal.
I got turned into a Dracula last night, so today's been weird for me.
Sure. Well,
What are
you
you
know,
drinking?
in relation to Ryan's question or Ryan's comment there and your question, I started playing a little bit of Soul Reaver
Oh,
for the
nice.
first time since that game was like a modern game,
Nice.
and it holds up quite well.
The Dreamcast
Holds up
version?
quite well. Yeah.
Cool.
Uh, and then I started playing this game today that I'd never heard of called Record of Lotus War. And it's basically Diablo on Dreamcast, and it's pretty cool.
Give me a little bit. How many? What do we got? Different classes?
I don't think so,
Okay.
because I just started and it just gave me some dude. But, you're getting different pieces of armor and equipping them and, making the numbers go up. It's very, very Diablo.
Cool. I like the sound of
Yeah.
that. Never heard of it. I'm gonna Google it.
Uh, and then my daughter, a few hours ago, we started up Seaman.
Cool.
That's been very interesting. She got that weird octopus thing impregnated with the eggs, and then
Sure.
that thing died. So now we got little baby Seamans.
Good. Good.
Yeah,
Foster them, nurture them.
yeah,
You know, that's all we
yeah.
got.
Foster the Seaman. That's some hipster band.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's all we got. Siemens.
What about you,
that's
Ryan?
about it.
Wow. Good thing that's not on video or anything.
Sure.
What have you been playing?
Uh, so I'm still, Street Fighter Five, still doing the Watch Dogs 2 thing. I am now at the point where I'm farther in the game than I was when I stopped the first time. So that's cool to getting more of that story. Also, I started playing a space game that I've had for a while and never actually installed. Um, and it's actually really
What?
it's called a X4 Foundations.
Oh, they
Uh,
ever say Elite Dangerous?
well, it's so I think that every space game that I play has something that the previous game that I played didn't have, and I'm looking for a space game that has all of those things together.
Mhm.
And I think that X4 Foundations so far is the closest to that. Because it allows you can actually like get out of your pilot seat and walk around in your ship. You
Ooh.
can have and like some of the ships that I've seen are pretty huge. You can
Huge.
They're just huge. You can hire people to like do different things on your ship depending on how big your ship is and how many stations it has. And you can buy other ships and have other people pilot them and do other things. And just the whole game is really cool on its surface so far. The only thing about it is the game is really buggy, which is,
Hmm.
for example, I hired someone to pilot my ship for me, and I left the ship to walk around the space station to do some stuff. I came back into my ship, and they were standing in the center console of the ship. Like they were standing inside of it, and their legs were sticking
It's
out of
like
the
they were
bottom of the
clipping.
ship. Yeah, but they were fine. They seemed okay. Uh, it didn't.
I am the ship now.
Yeah, look at me. It didn't seem to impede their ability to pilot the ship, though, because the funny thing is they kept piloting. They piloted the ship without moving from that static position, and it was really funny to me. But other than that, oh, and I've been playing more Vermintide too, which
Nice.
that game is so fun. Uh, I finally tried different classes that I hadn't played in that game before. I'm playing the dwarf, and he's more of a tanky character. Um, but it's fun. That game is a lot of fun. That game has a story. I don't know what it is, but it has one that it tries to feed you through cutscenes, but I'm doing all the levels out of order, and so I don't understand it. But that's so. But that's about it. It's that's been that's been my games.
Uh, I've been watching a lot of Westworld this week, but also I've been playing, unsurprisingly, a lot of Animal Crossing.
That does not
It's been
surprise me.
Yeah, it's been super fun. Still playing a lot with my sister. I found out that you get a bonus if like you invite somebody and they water flowers that you already watered.
Hmm.
You have a much higher chance of them sprouting new flowers. And so now people are being like watering buddies and
Sure.
like making friends online and like the Discords and subreddits I'm in. Um, I finally started doing terraforming and my islands come together. Like I'm actually pretty like stoked about it. I was really stressed out, but I saw a Reddit thread that was like, "Hey, like don't compare your island to other islands. Like everyone plays at their own
Mm-mm.
space. Like it's fine."
You have to be the best. That's the only reason to play any video game is to be the best.
But the advice was like, just focus on one area, think what you could do with it, and then do it, and then move on to the next, and like it'll come together. And so I've been doing that, and it's been working out really well. I've been enjoying it because I was really stressed out about like terraforming. My sister actually has been getting really into making pixel art with flowers around her
Hmm.
island. So like as you fly over, when you fly into it, like there's just like pictures that you fly over.
Is there a Wario? Is
No.
there a Waluigi?
Mm-mm. There is the one up mushroom.
Okay. Ask
There's
her to work
that.
on the Wario or a Waluigi, please.
All right, I'll put in the request.
Thank you.
And then uh and then like we've been like putting together costumes already for October. So when Halloween rolls around, we can like do a different costume every day.
Okay.
And then so another thing though that I have made friends have been doing is people are doing like mini games on their island. They'll make like obstacle courses or other stuff that you have to do, and they'll give out prizes, like a first, second, and third like prize, like with different rare like items.
Mm.
And so it's been like pretty fun because people are doing like pitfall things where it's like you constantly have to fall into the dirt. A lot of obstacle courses for the most part because that's kind of like the easiest thing to do in the game as far as a mini game. Like having people over instead of like fishing stations and things like that, and it's been pretty fun. Like people are like putting another level into it because and I never would have thought of doing that for anybody
Sure.
because I'm not thoughtful.
No, you're not.
Um
You really aren't.
but yeah, but it kind of like started making me like I know at its core like Animal Crossing is just like make an island, make it however you want. You have a lot of freedom, like invite people over, hang out with your friends, send letters. But it's really nice seeing the people like kind of expanding on that. And it was kind of making me think about like different ways that other people play games that are not necessarily intentional, or if there's like a glitch in something and like you exploit it to make the game better or more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Um, so that reminds me of all the different ways that people have found to like play. I think I haven't played Modern Warfare really since the first one, but I remember one thing that rose to prominence fairly quickly was some game called Michael Myers, wherein like I can't remember if the other players get guns, but I think actually I think it was called Michael Myers because everybody in the map can only use their knives. And that's not like an official at the time, at least it wasn't like an official game type. It was just something that people made because I guess they got tired of shooting guns at each other. I don't know. uh,
There's
but
so many guns in my first person
yeah.
shooter.
So that's the one that immediately came to mind. But yeah, I don't I don't know. It's what do they call it? They call it the making your own fun. Isn't that what they call that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, a lot of stuff was intentional in like when I think of like Mario Odyssey, like the
Yeah.
fact that there is an array, but it is like a lot of times reaching a certain goal.
Hmm.
I really like when people do stuff to like make patterns in games that should ne that don't necessarily need to be there or serve any purpose, and
Sure.
just use by like moving around inventory.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I've seen some. A lot of like really interesting things. Like someone, I believe, in Doom 2016, um, they use SnapMap to make some kind of farming simulator in the game, like a very rudimentary, basic farming simulator. I don't remember what it is they were growing, but
Hmm.
yeah, they found some way to like make some kind of weird farming simulator. I'll have to look it up because that sounds interesting. I imagine the only thing that they were growing likely was demons, but uh, yeah,
Oh, well, it's only always demon season.
yeah,
I also there was like a really big trend for a while with like Soul Calibur 5 with making the character creators for like different things and making music videos
I had never
out
heard
of
of
them
that.
fighting,
I've never heard
Oh,
of
or it
you're
that.
looked like they were
thinking
dancing.
you're thinking of the most recent Soul Calibur.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, yeah.
Or it
People
has
were
like
all
the
about that. I mean, Soul Calibur for a long time, maybe since I don't think the first one, but for a long time it's had a character creator. There's always had just a lot of fucking options in it, you know.
Yeah,
But
there's this guy that I guess I wouldn't say that I know him. Oops, I turned my fucking I ruined the thing. Uh, I wouldn't say that I know him, but I would say that like we have some mutual friends, and like his whole thing. I don't even think he actually plays the game really. All he does, he seems to do, is take the character creator and make characters that exist in other things, um, and that's all he does. And he's always showing them off. And he recently made a Cloud Strife that looked nightmarish. Um, because his hair was all feathers. It was feathers and
oh.
something else. It was really weird. But yeah, that's and I think that a lot of people get like a lot of joy out of that and like um, kind of making. And I guess it's not really playing the game in a way that wasn't originally intended because obviously they put a character creator in there for you to do something like that. But it's cool to see how much time people will put into making their Soul Calibur character look like a character from a different video game. It's kind of nuts to me.
Yeah. No, like I guess like not same thing with like Animal Crossing. Is that like any of this is like out of the scope, otherwise they wouldn't put it in the game.
Yeah,
But it's fun to see people like play it not as intended and still getting a lot of enjoyment out of it.
yeah, uh, yeah. I don't know.
I
I haven't really looked into a lot of the stuff with Animal Crossing as far as people making little games in it. I imagined that would happen at some point, um, but yeah, I never really looked into that stuff too much. I, f-
uh
I feel like speedrunning is that to an extent. Uh,
yeah, kinda.
yeah.
because I think that people like especially like when you take like these really huge games I'm talking like in terms of scope and then people beat them in like 20 minutes and and naturally with these larger games the intent was for you to take tens of hours to finish it and then people will post a video of them playing the game in like 12 minutes which is for people who like to do that, that is where the fun is in the video game to them, or so I assume. Um, so that's that, and that. It was funny because when you brought this up, like my mind kept going back to that.
Mm.
My mind kept going back to speedruns, because I that's what I think it kind of is, but
Yeah, because
I
because
think it depends on the game, right? Like it depends
yeah.
on the game and the genre, right?
sure,
Because some games it is the intention to finish as fast as possible,
yeah,
but obviously a shit ton of them that's not really the case.
yeah.
Do you have anything that you speedrun?
Um,
Your mom.
No, I've never really. It's funny because like I think that I tried to speed run like once, and I it's not really fun to me to play games that way. Um, I
Because
do.
because you're bad at them.
Yeah, most of them, but I do remember specifically an ill-advised decision to have a Mega Man 2 race with somebody without having ever played Mega Man 2 before. And
That reminds me of Jimmy's Mega Man speedrun.
oh man, when he came over and he was like, "I'm gonna speed run this, watch it," and then he just died over
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
over again, which was
Yeah.
basically my speed run. Except my defense is at the time I'd never played Mega Man 2 before, but
Sure.
he'd played it plenty of times. So
Um, I don't. I guess I guess you can kind of speed running. I've been playing. Whenever I need to get sleepy, I've been playing the Outlanders game again on my phone. There's only 6 levels to it, so each time I play with like my own different rules, just because I've beaten it so many times.
yeah,
Yeah.
So I'll try to do it with like my own rules on it. But I also just like there's a different objectives in it, but there's like a main objective. And so most of the time is fuck all the other objectives. Let's beat this as fast as possible.
yeah, hell yeah. Um,
How about
not
you, Tom?
Uh, as far as like speedrunning stuff, the only thing I can really think of is Shadow of the Colossus, and that started as just trying to get trophies for the new version. Uh, but it got to the point where I could beat that game quite fast. Don't get me wrong, there are speedrunners that are fucking mopping the floor with me. I guarantee it.
yeah,
But I can beat that game very very quickly. But like as far as playing games in ways that they aren't intended to, I can think of a few. When GoldenEye came out, me and my friends, you unlock all the cheats, right? And one of our favorite cheats was the paintball mode.
paintball mode's great.
And we would basically play like a dumb version of like hide and seek slash tag with the paintball. And that was pretty cool. Mario Kart Double Dash. And I haven't done it with any other Mario Kart. I think just because, it's a place and time thing. You're doing it with a certain group of friends. But like, we would play races where it would have to be like a repeated acceleration. Like you have to tap accelerate instead of hold it.
Yeah,
And the only person that could hold accelerate was the person who had a star.
yeah,
So it very quickly changes the dynamic of that game because like you're not getting a star unless you're in the back of the pack.
yeah.
Uh, but it was pretty cool. And then most recently, my daughter's been crazy into The Sims for a long time. And she's playing The Sims 4 and she starts planting stuff in her backyard. And like, I'm like, can you be like a farmer in this game? And she's like, well, there's no career to be a farmer, right? That's not an intended path. But we quickly came to find that like, if you were good enough at growing things, like you can support yourself off of farming in that game,
Yeah.
And so I know it's not like completely unintended, right? You're intended to make money from that stuff
Yeah.
because they let you sell it.
Yeah.
But like that is not an intended career path in that game. And that's pretty fun.
Yeah,
I
like I've seen people use The Sims. Like I watched a guy who was an architect. Like he had a YouTube channel, and every now and then he would make houses in Sims, and
Yeah.
sometimes it was based off things that he was thinking about. So he's like, yeah, sometimes it's really good to like get the ideas out here,
Yeah.
to see if this would be like a viable like actually building thing, even though like obviously it's not based off like real life, like 100% realistic like building options because there's so much more in our life.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I thought that was super interesting just to see like, all right, before we start putting this like as an idea, a proposal, let me just make it in The Sims real fast.
Right. What I really love about you bringing that up is like the Sims community in general is very good about this. There's like these YouTube videos that I'll watch from time to time that are like, and it's like such a small section right? Like there's the games YouTube, like gaming YouTube.
Yeah.
Then there's like Sims YouTube, and then there's these guys who like try to make the smallest house that they can make, but still
Yes, I
have
love those
everything that they
videos.
need. So it's like a
Yes.
3x3 fucking house, you know? But like they can still sleep and shower and eat and all that shit. Like that stuff's so interesting to me.
I wanted to mention. I'm glad you mentioned that because I wanted to say that like it's cool when like at some point because when people do something so much that like the developer is like, hey, that's an interesting idea, and then they make it like an actual part of the game.
Yeah.
Like case in point with the Sims, um, they people were that was like a thing with the Sims community. So they introduced the Tiny Living expansion pack, which
Yeah.
was like based around like tiny homes, which is like I don't know if that's still a thing, but like and so like they've like made plots and like mechanics like around doing that, and
Yeah.
I think it's really neat when people come up with like really cool ways to play the game and then like the developer is able to like implement it and like build something around it.
Well, it's
I
like
think I may have
Burnout,
mentioned it.
right? Like Burnout
Oh,
with the crash mode. Like I'm sure people just wanted to fuck with that physics engine,
Yeah.
you know, and they're just like, well, fuck it, let's make a mode based off of it, which eventually led to a whole game based off of it.
Yeah.
But
Um,
uh, to touch a little bit back about this, one of the guys saw that did the 3x3 challenge, he actually got to do a video with a Sims developer. So like, it's nice. Like Sims, like creators as well, seem very in tune to their community, which is nice to see.
yeah. There was a period of time, and this was back during this when like before Sims 2 came out. Um, I was spending a lot of time on the Sims website, and there was a specific area on that website where people could publish stories about their Sims. And like people were doing like really elaborate fucking plots about their Sims. Sometimes they were romance, sometimes it was like supernatural, sometimes it was a murder mystery, and they'd have a screenshot for every section of the fucking story. And I'm not sure, and I don't know if that was what that was for, but that's what it became, and I always thought that was really interesting. And I think about it from time to time, and I wonder sometimes if people are still doing that, and I have to imagine they are. But yeah, I spent a lot of fucking time looking at that shit.
yeah, I mean, speaking of Sims, right? Like Second Life is basically nothing but that, you
Yeah,
know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just hornier.
the boy mayor. Uh, God, all I think about is Pizza Party Doghouse. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like, of course, there's like games that definitely lend themselves to. I can't really think of any game. Like, I was like, there has to be game glitches or things that like people did. Like, I don't feel maybe like I know Dead Island because I was trying to think of like other examples and I kept thinking about this. Like, Dead Island meant for it to be harder to get ammo. But like I said, for my playthrough, I basically never used the gun. It was all just curb stomp.
Yeah.
Like, I eventually just stopped looking for ammo. And I was like, if I came across it, it was awesome. I
Sure.
don't, but I don't know. I think that there, of course, like things like WoW, a lot of MMOs, online player games. Of course, if you allow more than one person, it's going to evolve.
One of my favorite things, which Burnout kind of reminds me of, is like any game with an interesting physics engine,
Yeah,
just fucking around with that engine, trying to see about like getting from point A to point B in a weird way, right? Like I think Portal is really good for that, especially Portal 2 because the environments are much larger. Uh, you know, like just can I get to this place over here? You know,
yeah,
I think that's really interesting. Same thing with like Odyssey, like, right? Mario Odyssey is very good for that, as was 64 and Sunshine. Um, I don't know. It's just like it's not really. There's no end goal, right? It's just you're fucking around for a little bit. But like even games that have more normal physics, right? Like GTA, tons of people just fuck around in GTA, right?
Yeah.
Or pilot wings for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So, yeah, GTA started. They started building out some, and I think that this is all like with the online component of the game. But like people like make these like crazy, elaborate fucking obstacle courses. Uh, that I've watched people do these. Like I watch videos of people playing these things, and it's just like it looks like the most frustrating thing in the world. I don't know why anybody would play that game that way, but that's what they're into. But there's and not to circle back to it and keep bringing it up, but so Elite Dangerous has this thing where they have these what are they called? They're called SRVs, and they're basically surface. There's something you could drive on the surface of a planet or whatever, and so there's no in-game mechanic for this, and there's no way to like officiate any of this shit. But people have started doing like races on like planets with these things. Uh, and like they'll like arrange meetups and like they'll post online like we're gonna do this race and like hundreds of people will show up and it's it's neat but um it's like it's one of those things where like it seems fun but like everything about that game is so fucking time consuming that it seems not worth the effort. um Especially when I think about like since like because I don't imagine that there are prizes because you can't really like you can't exchange money with anybody. So like I guess they're just doing it for bragging rights or whatever. But one thing that I remember fairly recently was I was actually I played a few rounds of Mortal Kombat with a friend of mine, and we set a rule where it was throws only, and so like the whole match, like all we could do was throws, and so it was just like it was like it was. I was watching matches of two people trying to throw each other and doing like a bunch of throw escapes until every match like kind of took forever because like we were just doing throw escapes the whole time. But it was neat because the game is fun as it is, but like putting like a like another like layer on top like putting like modifiers I guess you would call it on the rules like makes it more interesting and like kind of makes it it's skill based but like there's a lot of luck to it too and it's like really it's like fun to do shit like that.
Yeah, with one of me and Berto's friend group, I think I mentioned before we did like random rolls with Smash Bros.
Yeah.
Where everyone was a random character. If you were a character and you got one of your maps, then it was everybody against you. If you got Kirby, all you could do is sit there and suck until you get somebody. And we called it mercenary. So you become that person and y'all are on a team. If it like is like people from the same game that they were on a team, it's just adding a different dimension.
Yeah.
Necessarily, it's not like on those. Like I don't think like it's necessarily like going against it because we're still playing Smash Bros. There's nothing unconventional about
Yeah.
that.
you
But
know
it is
what's
always like,
really what I think's really cool that Corey from our Discord, our friend Corey, reminded me of unintentionally. So he's playing Trackmania right now, and the game glitched on him, and he like basically exited the world, right? And I love that shit. Like if you find a glitch in a game, I will intentionally try to recreate that glitch, get to the point where I can do that glitch every single time.
Yeah.
And most of the time, it's something pointless, right? I think the last time I can remember doing it is Ryan was sitting here with me and I'm playing Pro Skater HD, right? And on the school level for Pro Skater HD, when you jump up that little gap and you see like the LA staircase there, like if you wall ride and jump again, you can like fly into the sky, you know? And like I found out how to just do it over and over again. So I just sat there fucking with it over and over again, you know? But like even more so than that, I really love finding old video game glitches that are advantageous, whether it be for speedrunning purposes or exploits or whatever, and learning to do
yes.
those. So that's always fun for me.
If you remember in River City Ransom, Ryan, you're much better with the names than I am. It's the boss right before you fight the guys on the giant stack of tires where it's like
Rutherford.
tiered.
That's Rutherford. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
But on one of them has like an area that's like kind of looks like it's like a bathroom, and there's a bar there. And I figured out that like there's like a one of those like hidden wall things where if they were hitting me, then if they're that I wasn't doing any damage, but I could still hit them.
Yeah.
So if I was getting my ass kicked, I'd go over there and do that. There's a couple River City Ransom where you just get stuck in the wall for a while, or
Yeah.
the tire would if you threw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, clipping in old 2D games like that is very common,
Uh,
right?
yeah, we would also play with me and my cousin. We also play River City Ransom bowling, where we stacked
Oh yeah.
trash
I know
cans.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
Where we stacked trash cans, and then one of us would hit the other one, and then throw the other one.
That sounds very tedious for not much reward there.
Well, it's also because it's whoever could knock the other person out first. So we would
Yeah.
work together to stack these trash cans meticulously, and then just
um.
we did because we didn't really understand. Like for a long time, we didn't really understand the progression of the game and the
Right.
bosses. So for a long time, like we just did whatever we wanted to in there because it was cool and the faces were really super funny.
Yeah. So there's this. There was one that I was thinking about. So our friend Jimmy was. He was like he has this thing where if he gets into a game, he will learn literally everything about it. And we used to play Halo 2 almost nightly. And he discovered this thing called super jumps. And that was where if you were in a level and you jumped on a specific piece of geometry in a very specific way, it would launch you really high up into the air. And so when he got it, it looked really cool, but it was usually 20 or 30 minutes of him like jumping on like the corner of a wall just to get it right. And like there's no like practical application for that, but he just really wanted to do it.
It's funny you said that there's a lot of games that have that exact thing going on. Shadow of the Colossus being one of them. And they're, in that game you're climbing these giant fucking things, right?
Yeah.
So if you can just shoot up there really quickly, it makes the game much, much faster. So there's this one with the 15th Colossi that almost every speedrunner does. So I fucking tried for hours to replicate this thing, and I just can't fucking do
So
it.
you
But
just like you do something and then Wander jumps really high.
yeah, you basically jump on a specific part of the Colossus, and you get shot up to his head, And I just could not repeat it.
I
But
I'm
most speedrunners of that game do that glitch.
I really want to see that.
Yeah.
uh, of course, if you we've talked about glitches before, or I think like or cheats or whatever. Legend of Zelda one, where you can immediately go through the wall. Tommy showed it to me.
Yeah, I forget. It's either the Traveler's glitch or the Explorer's glitch. It's for Link to the Past. You can beat the game in like a few minutes, but basically, like you have to jump off this very specific ledge in the castle and pause in midair, and then restart the game. And then when you go back into the castle, you can basically clip through this wall and walk to the end of the game.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think it was less than 2 minutes, I think, or like a little bit over, because like you
Yeah.
showed it to me, and I was like, oh.
It's the worst way to play that game, right? Because
It
you
is.
experience nothing.
yeah.
But it's just like it's almost like a fun parlor trick just to show people.
It's funny because
It's
if
like
like that's the way you beat that game and you were having a conversation with someone else who like really loved that game and like,
Yeah.
dude, remember the part where it's like, no, I don't remember that.
it's like I have a very busy schedule. All right, let's beat
Well,
this
we've talked
game.
about on this show
I
before as well. Like the first three Mario's, because of like the whistles and the warp zones and the secret vases in Mario 2, like that's so drilled into my head that I don't know that I've actually played through all those levels
Yeah.
since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
uh,
Um,
I'm normally not a cheater, so
Yeah,
Man.
you just play on fucking baby mode.
which is like almost
exactly.
worse.
Oh, it is. It's worse.
It's funny because like when I was a kid, like man, give me every cheat for this game you have, you know.
Yeah.
And then
Oh, they're doing that rosebud cheat all
uh,
in the first Sims.
but
Yeah.
but like I as I got older, that's obviously that's had less appeal to me because like I want to get my money's worth out of these $60 video games.
Well, it exists much less
Yeah,
now, you
sure.
know.
There are some developers who like go out of their way to like include them, like well, that's like specifically like the Grand Theft Auto, like they'll still throw
Right.
those in there, but it's not really
Uh,
so much of a thing anymore.
I
Well,
But
mean,
it's, I mean, we
there's still
talked about it
shortcuts in
before.
Mario Party. Or not Mario Kart.
Right, but like actual cheats, right? And we've talked
Oh
about it
yeah.
before. Like the intention of cheats were not for the consumers, like when
yeah,
we were kids, you know.
but
At
they're for
least
me.
typically, right? They were
Yeah,
typically for developers and testers.
yeah. Uh,
But
there was a cheat that I would use for Aladdin on the Sega Genesis. And it was basically it was a level select cheat I think, and like
yeah,
you did it because like it's funny because like back then when you did a cheat you did it right because the game would make a specific noise to let you know you did it, and then the one for Aladdin was just Aladdin being like yeah, and that's just like that sticks in my head. Uh, but I wonder though because like
There's a
I'm
lot of cheats I tried that failed that were not cheats. It was just schoolyard talks that didn't exist.
yeah.
yeah.
Um,
I there was like one in Kingdom Hearts that I tried over and over and over again. And that
what was it meant
like
to do?
you would get an extra fight in the Tarzan world. You could fight along it was like I forgot exactly what it was, but it was like a hidden extra fight.
You know,
Uh,
there was so much of that when we were kids, right? Like somebody saying, "Oh yeah, you do this, and you can see Laura Croft's boobs or whatever,"
yeah.
right?
Oh
And like
yeah.
none of it was ever true, you know. But like uh, sometimes the stuff turns out to be true, and you're like, "Holy shit, it wasn't a lie," you know.
Yeah.
Like
Ugh.
I remember either like late elementary or early, I think like late elementary school. I had a friend Chase who's telling me about Street Fighter Two Rainbow Edition. I'm like, Rainbow Edition? There's no such thing as Rainbow Edition, and there totally is. It's an illegal version of Street Fighter Two, but it exists. I don't find this out till I'm an adult. You
Yeah, of
know?
course.
Yeah.
Um,
You missed
yeah.
out. Too
So
skeptical.
it's not a cheat, and it's not, and I guess it's not like playing the game in an unintended way, but like the talk of the schoolyard rumor cheats reminded me of back in '08 on the if you look on the back of the GTA 4 box, Nico has these gray fingerless gloves, right? And like all of the screenshots, right? And I was like, how you get them gloves? And so
But
like
those gloves though.
yeah, but okay, so like I'm looking up on the internet because you can't buy them in any of the stores, like because like all the stores sell different clothing. You can't buy them in any of the stores, and so like I'm looking up online like where you get them gloves, and so I'm I'm going into message board trying to figure this shit out, and it took me all of 3 hours to realize that I was being trolled the entire time. Uh, because like they were like, so basically there's a homeless guy that walks around outside of the building. If you shoot him, then
You were
you
bamboozled.
you shoot him, and then you got to go over to this other place, and then you got to drive this car. And like I did that shit for like 3 hours, and then I realized
That's
that
really funny.
I had been had.
Oh, also the how to get Mewtwo in the original Pokemon Yellow. Like you can get Mew and Mewtwo, like all of those cheats too. I
Yeah.
Yeah.
tried.
Um, Tom and Shanae, I wanted to ask your opinion on this. Is Supersonic a cheat?
No.
Okay.
How so? What do
How
you
is
mean?
it? Supersonic in the old Sonic games is when Sonic turns yellow, he basically turns Super Saiyan and flies through the level.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's the whole
But you
point of
earn
playing
that.
Sonic.
I never.
Well, yeah, that is the point of playing Sonic, and you earn that.
I don't.
Yeah.
But you got to
I
do like a little code at the beginning to make that happen, though.
okay, so there might be a way to do the code to make it happen, but like, doesn't that just happen when you get all the Chaos Emeralds?
I don't know. I was 8.
That's what I
I
thought.
don't remember.
I could be wrong. I
The
was
only
never big into Sonic,
the
but
only
I'm pretty sure
the
that's the
only
case.
so I remember in Sonic 2, the only way that I've ever seen to get him was there's some code that you put in at the on the title screen, and then it takes you into some menu, and then you can enable or disable Supersonic, and
That
then you,
sounds like a developer debug
and
menu, right? Like that
then
was.
and then you go in. So then you go into the game, and you're still Sonic. And once you get 50 rings, you jump, and then you become Supersonic.
So that's probably intended for the devs to use, you know. But Supersonic, I believe you get Supersonic just from getting Chaos Emeralds.
Okay.
I definitely could be wrong.
Okay.
Don't quote me on any of this. If you're a fucking Sonic fan, shut the fuck up. But,
You made poor
I
choices
believe
somewhere,
that-
and this is your.
Your opinion already doesn't matter at this point.
Right,
So.
right. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I guess I just kind of wanted to somehow sneak in more Animal Crossing talk.
I mean, I liked it.
Yeah. So here's the thing: is that like, I know that a lot of people do that stuff, right? I know that a lot of people find different ways to make, to tailor a game's experience in a very specific way like that.
Mm.
And I found that doing that diminishes my enjoyment of the game. Like when when people are like, "Hey Ryan, let's do this thing. Let's do this thing." A lot of the times I'm just like, "No, I don't. That does not sound appealing to
So,
me."
if I made an obstacle course on my island, you wouldn't come visit me and go through my obstacle course?
That depends on what your turnip prices are that day. But
87.
yeah, I mean, like the thing I did with my friend in Mortal Kombat, that was like a fun little thing to try, but like by no means would I want to play that game like that all the time, you know?
Well, yeah, that's why you don't play Dive Kick, right?
Yeah,
But,
yeah. So, I get it. I get like people want to do that, but like it's really never been a thing for me because I tend to just want to play the games the way that they are.
there's this one time that Ryan was
The way that God
playing.
intended them.
Yeah.
There's this one time that Ryan and our friend were playing this game Nidhogg. Ryan was playing in an unintended way
How's that?
because he wasn't playing, but he was still winning. He was
I just
still
win.
winning, and it
I
was
just
very
win.
funny.
I just win.
Yeah.
Man, I would give anything to have been recording that.
Oh, I know.
Holy shit, man. There are a few times in my life when I've laughed that hard.
Yeah.
What happened?
So
Caleb's just really bad at Nidhogg, so Ryan's just standing there.
What's
and just
Nidhogg's?
Nidhogg, it's like a game where you have like two fencers, and you can only proceed to the next screen if you kill the other fencer, right? And the goal is to get to the end of the map this way, or
Okay.
for the other person to get to the end of the map that way.
Okay.
Anyways,
What consoles is on?
it's on like everything.
Okay, gotcha.
Ryan's just standing there, literally pressing nothing, and Kayla just repeatedly is running into his spear, and it was so fucking funny, man.
I was
Just
doubled over.
Fucking Lance, whatever.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
it was so
hilarious.
fucking funny. It was so funny.
But I think like that often like streaming. What I miss about streaming is it can lead to dumb things like that.
Yeah.
Like I remember when Ryan and I were streaming The Evil Within. There was some dumb thing about what were we throwing, like a bottle of wine?
Yeah,
or something
yeah. So
like
there
that?
was there was this guy because there was these people who were hanging out on our stream with us, and like there was this part like later in the game where you're like in this dungeon or whatever, and there's one of the evil zombie dudes. He's like in the cell. He's like rattling the cage, and in the cell across from him, there's a bottle of wine. And then we're just like have a drink and like threw the bottle at his face.
Yeah, but then we kept dying, right? So what it turned into was like that was just a fucking thing we did every single time we respawned, was just throwing this drink at this guy.
But like
I know, like it was very weird, but like
for the guy in the chat, because we almost left without doing that, and the guy in the chat was like, "Don't forget the drink for your friend." And we're like, "Oh yeah, we're going back and throwing it."
Yeah, it's funny like the way that like streaming streaming very much leads to that sort of behavior while playing.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get back to that because I actually really miss it.
I mean, you can do it.
Well, I can't do. I mean, you're not here. You know, it's fun, or it's more fun with companionship. You know.
We can stream.
Yeah.
I mean, you could throw this window in your stream.
That's true. Yeah, but then like we can't take turns driving, and
We can play Street Fighter like this.
sure, that's true.
Yeah.
We should. We should
Drink
do
for your friend.
that. Throw the bottle at the screen.
Yeah.
But Tom, you said you had a I don't want to say present. But you
No,
had
it's a
something for me?
game. It's a game specifically tailored for Shanae Howard.
You have money for me?
No,
Oh,
it's a
oh.
game, you bitch. All right, it's a game.
Is there a prize?
Look, let's get serious. There's no prize.
Okay.
This is a very serious game. It's to test
All
your
right.
knowledge on something.
Oh
Okay.
shit.
So, what the game is called is Otomi or Garfield. Okay. So
I like this already.
basically, the way this works is I'm going to read a title to you,
Okay.
and all you have to do is say Otomi or Garfield. They will either be the name of an Otomi game or a Garfield book by Jim Davis.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Number one, I hate Mondays.
Ryan, have you ever read a Garfield book?
No, just the Sunday funnies.
I have not either.
But you've played a lot of Otomis. Okay,
Yeah,
first
I
one.
know.
First time.
Some of them I don't know their English names, so let's see how it goes.
First title, Kitty Love.
Kitty Love?
Yeah.
Tell me.
You are correct. Otomi.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, put one on the board for Shanae.
Ding.
Number 2, Out to Lunch.
Garfield.
You are correct.
Wow, I thought
Wow.
that would be an Otomi.
Woo! 2 for
Okay.
2.
Bigger Than Life.
Tell me.
That's a Garfield.
Ah.
Man, I've missed the soundboard really bad right now.
Fun in the Sun.
Both. No, not
None
final
of them
answer.
were both. None of them were both.
Shit.
Although I should have tried for that.
There
none of
has
them
to
were
be.
both.
All right, what is it? Bigger than life.
No, Bigger Than Life was the last one. This one's Fun in the Sun.
Fun in the sun. Tell me.
That's a Garfield.
All right. Now two and two. I'm all squared away.
Princess Debut.
Oh, tell me.
That's an Otomi.
Man,
You got it.
I was
Yeah.
certain that would be a book about Nermal.
I was like, no, this isn't a red herring. Nah. Oh, I guess it is a red herring.
Sweet Fuse.
Oh, tell me.
Yeah, I've actually played that one.
Yeah.
Bad Apple Wars.
Tell me.
That's an Otomi. Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
was like, Garfield doesn't give a shit about apples.
Hustle Cat.
Oh, I know that one.
Okay, if Sinead doesn't get if
Garfield?
well, I guess she doesn't know, then you'll know by default. I'm sorry. What was that, Sinead?
I guess Garfield, since Ryan knows it.
Hustle Cat.
Yeah.
Hustle Cat's an Otomi.
I knew it.
Mm-mm-mm.
I got that in a bundle like 6 months ago.
Oh.
Food for Thought.
Oh man, come on.
Garfield.
That's a Garfield.
That's a Garfield.
Too good. Too good. Too good. Too good. I don't do Perky.
I know. I have a feeling about this one.
I don't
it's
like
hard,
Ryan
right?
making
Right, like,
comments.
some of them
I
are
don't like
hard,
Ryan
right?
making comments because I feel
Because
confident
don't
that he
some
says
of these
something and then
sound
I'm
like they could be either one?
yes.
You know,
I forgot what
like
the
I don't
answer
do
was.
Perky. That could be Garfield or Otomi, right?
Garfield.
That's a Garfield.
That's a Garfield.
Today you got 7 right. Pretty good.
7 out of how many?
Pretty good. I don't know, but you got more right than wrong. So,
Okay, that's all that matters.
Yeah. So that was Otomi or Garfield.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like the phrase
What
"that's
was,
a Garfield."
Yeah, that's a Garfield.
Yeah.
What was the one that Ryan said? Hustle Cat.
Yeah.
I want to look that up now.
I feel like I
See,
was gonna
I
give you
threw
that game,
Kitty Love
actually.
in there and Hustle Cat in there because they both got cats in the title.
Yeah.
But neither of them were
I knew
Garfield.
I knew Kitty Love was at Otomi.
Yeah.
Uh,
I had other ones in there, but like
Sweet
they were
Fuse is
very
kind of like a
obviously
series.
Otomi, you know?
Yeah.
Sweet Fuse is a one-off, I believe.
I thought it was a series.
I mean, I played it.
I thought there was
might
like
be.
different versions of it.
If there is, I don't know about it. All I know is about the PSP one that was ported to Vita, and it's about Keiji Inafune's niece.
Because I think there's like a mobile version of it.
I don't doubt that. It's very much like a wannabe Danganronpa with less mechanics. But yeah, I started this game and I knew I wanted it to be Otomi or something, right? And I'm finding these Otomi games. Of course, I just Googled popular Otomi games. Start writing them out, and I'm like, so, some of these could be Garfield books. And Otomi led me to Garfield. So
Yeah. There's like a subreddit called like I'm Sorry John, where it's just nightmare Garfield stuff.
Sure.
And Berto's been in love with it, so I've been actually having a lot of really scary Garfield pictures sent to me by my husband. Like it's either like a scary Garfield thing or something about the dog.
His name is Odie.
No, Luna, my dog.
You should have named her Odie.
Nah.
That was a fun game, Tom. That made me laugh.
Yeah, I
glad.
like being the contestant. It was nice.
I gotta come up with one for Ryan at some point.
I'm down. I'm wondering, like,
game about space or.
I feel like that's easy, right? You do like space game or space movie.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I bet I could.
But you play so many of them.
And it's got to be something funnier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds cool. And I was trying to think of one for Tom.
Maybe like space game or energy drink.
Yeah, that could work. Fighting game character or juggalo name. I don't know.
Sure.
Ooh, not bad, not bad.
Yeah, I like it. You're a funny man, Tom, and you're a smart lady, Shanae.
Thanks. Y'all are good fellas. But yeah, if you want to hit us up on any of our social media about like any games that you've played unconventionally or any glitches that you like to play or any awesome speedruns you've had, hit us up on that. We have a Discord. We're on all of the podcast apps. We're on the YouTubes. You should check out Jason's Customs.
If you like
bye, guys.
Not everybody check it out.
No, but you should still like look at it because he has some cool stuff. Even if you're not gonna buy it, just get that foot traffic in.
Sure.
But bye guys.
Later.
Bye.